So I want to continue this discussion today by talking about design thinking for better market fit. During these office hours and during this program, we're going to talk about how to scale by design. And depending on where you are, you may have market fit, but you can always do better. And once you do better, you want to scale. And that's the premise behind sort of the thinking on this program. During the program, we will talk about each week sort of our double diamond approach, this idea of starting with a problem statement or a challenge statement, diverging, then converging into specific needs, then diverging into big ideas, prioritization of those ideas, which will allow you to converge onto your product and your service. In today's focus, I wanna go through this sort of what we do, but I'm gonna focus on empathy mapping today. So hopefully you all have some sort of you've crafted a challenge statement. It really is, at the end of the day, what your problem or product is trying to solve. And we have a whole nother session on how to dig down into that. But let's just start with what, if I were to ask you, what do you do? What do you sell? What is your product? What is your service? You should be able to tell me what problem you're trying to solve, or why would I buy it? You also should have you will eventually go through, or if you haven't already, identified your personas. These might be the people that use your product, buy your product, benefit from your product, are suppliers to your product or service, etc. So in this particular case, let's say a company that's a manufacturing company that has a classic sort of IT sort of organization, right? They might have a Maxine, the lead developer. They might have a VP of operations, someone like Bill. Might have a VP of application development, Chris. Might have some engineers, somebody like Brent. Might, of course, would have business units. Somebody might like Sarah, the senior vice president of retail operations, and then somebody like Patty, who's director of IT support. These are sort of in a classic. This is actually a retail company. This would be a classic sort of typical support organization. So what I'm going to suggest you do as part of your homework is identify a persona, just one right now, and we're going to take them through. Eventually, we'll take them through a stakeholding mapping exercise. But what I want to do in this particular office hour session is talk about empathy mapping. And empathy mapping is really nothing more than a way to explore holistically your persona. And essentially think of it as you're walking in their shoes. You're really becoming and getting under the covers of who they are and what they do. And in a nutshell, we're going to focus on four aspects of a persona. We're going to look at what they think and how they feel. These are sort of stuff that you intuitively pick up. And then on the other half of the equation, or the quadrant, is what this persona would say and what they do. Those are things you hear, obviously, and things you observe. So if one is sort of what you perceive, the other is what you actually observe. It actually isn't all that important where your divergent thinking goes, as far as, or your divergent analysis goes, as far as whether they're thinking or saying or feeling or doing. You just want to start to really analyze that persona from these four perspectives. So here's an example of what I want you to do on the mural template that we've given you. If we were in a room, you would take a bunch of Post-it notes. You would write down on them as a group. And again, this is a co-creation type of exercise. So you could actually bring that persona into the mix, or you can find people that everybody knows something about the persona, or at least they should. So just you write down on an individual sticky note what they say, what they do, how they think, and what they feel. So that's in a nutshell. We'll come back to need statements once in another session.